guy like Zach Moss and TJ that can do some stuff. And again, there's still some other guys that are, finding their way into this offense and going to be able to make some plays for us.
Josh, Maniac, Trainwreck Sports, thanks for taking the time. There's been a lot of wing controversy this offseason. A number of your teammates and even Coach McDermott coming out and saying that they actually prefer ranch to blue cheese. Just wondering your thoughts on that, and to be honest, your thoughts on them.
I mean, my thoughts on them are, no hard feelings on our part. And as a team, we'll continue to say that. We're going to support those guys no matter what. That's their decision. We still love them. We still support them. And they're going to give us that support back too. So it's not like they're just axed off the list. And we're going to continue to, like I said, support and love those guys.
That I thought that was real.
Yeah.
The amount of stains on that thing.
Oh, yeah.
From the parties downstairs, I could see the beer lines everywhere. After looking at it. Breakaway!
Uh-oh, breakaway.
Yeah! Boom! Wow, I feel great now.
Got that.
Is it tied or did Toronto score again?
2-0 Toronto.
2-0. I knew they were gonna win this game after how they played the other day.
Under 90 seconds until the Blue Jackets answer back.
Over minus 500.
Toronto has no fortitude. They have no mental will. They're about to let up an easy one here.
Hey, this Toronto game, Jenna, was just like the Penguins. Their first game.
It's true.
Second one. Yeah, same thing.
The favorite dominating.
So much anxiety.
Which one? Game 1 or 2?
Game 2 a little bit. Game 1, it was just like they came out flying, and it was one of those feelings where you're like, oh my God, I've seen this play out before. Like Montreal's going to get a fluky goal, and lo and behold.
There it goes.
Lo and behold.
Was everybody very rational with their reactions in the Pittsburgh fan base?
Completely rational.
That's good to hear.
Awesome. So yeah, tonight's show this is simple because you're a reoccurring guest now. So I mean, we don't have to like, oh Jenna, where are you from? Blah blah blah. So it's and that's why I'm excited for this one. So obviously talk about the move to Pittsburgh. The town you're in now. Get about that. We'll talk about quarantine. Obviously, weird start to your career doing that. Sports being back. Let's see here, Buffalo Blue Jays. We're a week away from that, so we'll talk about that. Just some other sports topics, and nothing too crazy.
Love it.
Should be pretty simple.
Love it.
Now, do you need to have a hard stop anywhere, or are you okay? Like 30, 40 minutes, that's fine?
I'm good. I'm off today, so as long or as short as we need to go.
Okay. So what's the schedule like? How many days off do you get? When are you off?
Usually it's 2. Right now, just because the Pens are playing every other day, they've had me have split off days. Just
okay.
We have to be there for games and stuff like that. But it's been weird just because of everything changing and stuff like that. So for the most part, at least right now, it's been Sunday, Mondays, but then I work some Sundays. I'm off Monday, Tuesday. So Monday is a good benchmark, but like this week, obviously, Pens played. It's like, okay, we'll play it by ear.
You got it. Yep. Awesome. All right, Maniac, you ready to rock?
Ready to rock.
Okay. All right, so 3, 2, 1. Folks, welcome back to a brand new episode of Trainwreck tonight, episode 179. I'm your host, General, joined by Maniac. Happy Tuesday, folks. Show sponsor, Pazda Electric.
Folks, considering a residential or commercial electrical project, then consider our friends at Pazda Electric. 716-698-2711. From new house wiring to service upgrades, they can troubleshoot issues. They are licensed and insured all over Erie County. Even if you got a question, just give them a call. Save this train never stops or mention Trainwreck Sports and get a free house surge protector with every service upgrade. Pazda Electric, 716-698-2711.
And you might ask, Al, why do you seem sweaty or greasy? Was I sweating a Pirates Twins under, or was I a complete jackass and decided to listen to my father's advice and turn off my AC today? That is what I did. It is 77 degrees right now, currently in Studio D. But we have a very special guest tonight, making her second appearance on Trainwreck tonight, Jenna Harner. Jenna, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. It's good to be back. I feel like it was pretty much, was it a year ago or 2 years ago? It's been a while.
It did fly by almost 2 years now. I think it was either late September, early October. And I will remind all our viewers that on that show, both Jenna and Al predicted that the UB Bulls would start 10-0 in football.
We did.
After that 3-0 start.
Oh my gosh, that was the big Temple win on the road. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh, when we had Army coming to town.
Oh yeah, Army. Who cares about Army?
We felt real confident in that one.
We respect the troops, but
Absolutely, always.
So Jenna, we want to find out, how are things going for you in Pittsburgh?
Things are going really well. It's been the craziest, most wild couple months. I keep joking with everybody. I'm like, move during a global pandemic, take a sports reporting job when there are no sports. So could not recommend it highly enough. It's a great time. No, but things are really, really good. It's been wild and, like I just said, crazy, but it's been such a blast here. I miss Buffalo dearly. I really, really, really do. My heart will always, part of me will always be in Buffalo, but it's been awesome to kind of explore here and, cover these Pittsburgh teams and, be in a place that has that, Buffalo style feel where everyone is just so invested in all their teams and everyone's diehard, The people you see out on the street in their masks are, still everybody's got their Pens gear, their Steelers gear, their Pirates gear. It's awesome.
I didn't even think about this, but is like the terrible towel mask a huge thing, or is that like too respected of an entity in Pittsburgh to like be using as a mask?
I've seen a couple, they do, it's hilarious. They have all the Pittsburghese in terms of how to social distance. So how many pierogies it is, how many terrible towels. Parking chairs are also a thing here. So how many parking chairs? You can reserve your parking spot with a chair, I think is the extent of it, which is kind of brilliant, but also I didn't know you could do that. So maybe you guys should start that up in Buffalo for all the spots that, Bill's tailgates and all those fun things.
I don't want to steal any traditions, but one time my grandpa did try to save a parking spot at Niagara on the Lake by standing in it, and then when we came back, he was basically in a brawl.
Oh,
but we did get the parking spot, and anyone who knows about going on anything, getting the parking spot is the most important thing.
It's crucial.
Yeah, I remember Maniac Chad and his crew, they used to park outside of the field house in that lot. Yeah. And you'd want to literally get that spot, all your friends in the same thing. So, yeah, you would just barricade. Your friends would sit in spots. And then I'm pretty sure the Bills changed that where, they would pretty much tell you where to park. There's no such thing as, saving spots anymore and lots anymore, right?
Yeah, I think because you're right, because they wanted the spot in close to the field house in that lot or whatever. And then obviously that makes no sense. Every other lot that's charging $20, $25, they got people directing to specific spots. So they basically just followed suit with them instead of letting it be a all-you-can-eat buffet in the clubhouse parking lot.
So, Jen, I got to ask you, you're doing the Zoom right now in the kitchen. So when I'm work from home, that's my spot, the kitchen. Is this what you do when you work from home?
It's a good spot. It was kind of funny. I actually started working at the station right when I got here. They kind of were like, "Hey, are you good with us kind of training you?" And it's wild just because there's, it's a huge news station and there's no one really in there other than the people that have to be, like the main anchors and a producer or two to kind of booth the shows. But I was there kind of from day one until I had to quarantine in my apartment. And they brought in the entire house studio. They brought the camera, the lights. They did it up. It was awesome. So that was my living room, which is just directly across that way. But for the most part, I will sit in the kitchen and do the Zooms, and it was hilarious because during my quarantine, we were on the Pirate Zooms all the time, and Derek Shelton might be one of my favorite people that I've worked with. Hilarious, such a great guy. First year, obviously, at the helm with the Pirates here. But I came back from vacation. He's like, "Oh, Jenna, you're back." I'm like, "Yeah, we're back. I'm excited to be back." I was like, "I'm quarantined though." So I would move around the apartment every day. He'd be like, "So we're getting, your view of our view of the kitchen. Nope, you're like, we're getting the different views of things." I'm like, "I'm not really trying to do this. It just depends on where the best lighting is."
So what was the date you started in Pittsburgh?
April 1st, which ironic in itself.
Wow. So April 1st, and so you moved then probably during quarantine then, right?
Yeah.
That was like the second week of March is when it all really hit.
Yeah, my last week in Buffalo was, I think I moved like I had like a week.
Okay.
And it was crazy because my last like week of work with Channel 4, I was working from home, which was just crazy. So it had like a little bit of a disconnected feel, which is why like I feel like I miss Buffalo so much more because I never got that entire sense of closure. But I mean, still great to, see everybody and follow everybody, still got all my Bills and Sabres updates because that's, I miss it. I do.
So obviously a very weird start to your career. What would you say has been or not your career at Pittsburgh?
You keep saying the start of the career. Are we talking back in like Ithaca?
I'm sorry.
I have no idea what is going on. Someone save me.
So what has been the most challenging thing for you during this like quarantine when it comes with your move to Pittsburgh?
I think it's honestly just been like trying to establish connections here and meeting everybody because, all the PR people and all the athletes even, it's all through Zoom. I had my first in-person interview like 2 weeks ago with, ironically enough, Ben Cherington, the now GM of the Pirates, who we had talked to him when he was with the Blue Jays, which was kind of cool. It was funny, my photographer's like, "Oh, you're gonna ask him if he remembered you?" I'm like, I don't think he probably would, but we have interviewed him before, which I thought was kind of cool. So having that, there's always a Buffalo connection, as they say.
And as face-to-face media members, like that's a huge part of it. Al and I can't stand it, but media members are kind of a coalition. They're all in it together. They're all at the same spots, the same press conferences, some of the same stories. And yeah, they end up spending, time outside work, whether it's going to get a bite to eat or maybe being overnight in the same city together. So I can understand that definitely sounds like a big challenge versus getting that face-to-face exposure with other members of the media.
Yeah, and it's been kind of funny too because I feel like I just introduced myself to everybody virtually. I'm like, "Hey, nice to meet you over Zoom. I'll meet you at some point potentially. I don't know, but it's one of those it'll get there when we get there type things." But it's been kind of cool just to see how everybody's been adapting. And I mean, when we talked with Mike Tomlin the other day, he kind of very very generous and nice was like, "I'm gonna do all I can to help you guys because I know you guys are trying to adapt to all this as we all are." So that was really cool to see and to hear from him too.
That's awesome. So you've been through Buffalo sports, Buffalo social media. How is Pittsburgh social media over the past 4 months? And the people you interact with?
It's so different. I don't know if it's just I'm new combined with the pandemic, combined with just like the age here, but a lot of the sportscasters here in Pittsburgh are a little bit older, a little more seasoned. Not that I guess seasoned, I don't know entirely. I guess have more experience, have been in the industry longer.
Savvy vets.
Oh yeah. And it's so funny to me because I'm out here like, doing my classic, throwing jokes in, putting gifts in, and it's been kind of well received. But it's just really surprising to me just how much, I guess, how different that is in that sense. But people here, I mean, always want to talk about the Pens, always want to talk about the Steelers, always want to talk about the Pirates, and, ride the ups and the downs, which you love, especially with, obviously with the Pens losing game 1 the other night, and with the Pirates kind of struggling a little bit here. Everybody has something to say, and you love it. And it's fun. I mean, we'll get videos from the Penguins again because it's all so weird right now. Like during when they were in training camp, they would send us videos, and I was like, "Oh my God, they're back on the ice! Like, get this video out!" And people like loved seeing that, just being able to give them that perspective, especially when we don't entirely have that perspective right now.
We were seeing that same thing. I mean, the Buffalo equivalent of that would be Joe Kroom. Nobody had access to the Bills for the past 2 to 3 months. All of a sudden, our guy Kroom Photos just starts dropping nukes on social media because people want to see Josh Allen, they want to see receivers, and of course, they want to see the new weapons to funding. So it is crazy. Being first to social media is even more important now. It feels like it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's a blast too. Like I love being able to, do that and get it out. And a couple of my coworkers were like, "You're really good at Twitter," and I was like, I don't know if I would consider myself really, really good, but I'm like, I have fun with it, and that's how sports should be. Like where I love the entertainment value of it now, especially that they're back. It's like we've missed this for so long. Like when I was live tweeting the Pens the other night, I'm like, oh my God, it feels like forever since I live tweeted a hockey game.
Oh, hockey being back is amazing. But got to ask you, Is there anyone like Maniac in Pittsburgh?
I'm sad to say there's not. Maniac, you're one and only, and the fact that you're so Buffalo, you're so special to Buffalo. We need one here, but I don't know if anyone can compare.
I've definitely been called special before, but I think that was the first time it was really in a positive way, so thank you very much for that, Jenna.
Always.
Maniac, where are you? That does not look like the west side of Buffalo.
Folks, you might notice I am not in my typical west side apartment in the city of Buffalo. I am actually on vacation right now with my family in Lake Placid, New York. As I say, where miracles are born. Like I said, very interesting. It's a very interesting spot. Cell service, not great, so I wouldn't want to be stuck here permanently in any regard, but very fun to get away from, the typical day-to-day. And obviously, like a lot of people have been doing during quarantine, nice to spend some time with the fam. So we're holding it down in Lake Placid. Climbed Mount Baxter yesterday, a.k.a. Placid's Everest. So, very great accomplishment for me there. But, we'll be wrapping it up tomorrow, and I'll be heading back to the 716 just in time for Thursday morning, Wednesday night.
There we go. I mean, that's great. I can't remember family trip, a vacation in general. I mean,
you're not going to be taking any vacations with GM Smokey if he's turning down the air conditioning on August 4th. That's all I'm saying. Jenna, don't you think Al should have consulted the calendar? Like his dad's telling him, "Oh, the summer's over." If someone tells me the summer's over, it's August 4th. I'm getting them checked for a sanity check, and that's coming from me.
So here's the deal. I'll be honest. He texted me this morning. I'm like, okay, the high's only 76 today, low of 62, and I looked at Wednesday. High of 73, low of 57. That's it. I saw 62, 57. I'm like, all right, Dad. But yeah, I think it's coming back on tonight. I really do.
AC. That's been my favorite part about living alone is I'm like, I know I have to pay for these consequences, but I'm doing it because, it's hot.
Yeah, not good. But Jenna, like you were saying with the Penguins live tweeting, it is so awesome to have hockey back. That's by far. Sports are back. We got NBA now, MLB, NHL, 3 major sports. August is usually the dog days of summer. This is the worst part. Hey, I know Maniac, Jenna, you love baseball. I love baseball. It's okay for us. But to combine everything and not have to deal with an NFL preseason, what a beautiful situation. And I wanted to ask you, Jenna and Maniac, so far, with sports being back, what has been your favorite moment?
Oh, that's a really, 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 really good one. I don't know. Maniac, do you have an answer immediately? I feel like
I'm gonna take 2, and Jenna probably would have taken them both, but I called dibs on. One, her favorite potential future job when that lady threw out the hats yesterday for the McDavid hat trick. That was just astounding. They should really keep them above the rink and then release them like balloons. That would be, I think, the best actually. And then yesterday, I'm cruising through social media. I'll admit I didn't see it live. I didn't hear it live, but I just heard Doris Burke quote, "I love being right. Just ask my ex-husband." Like that. I mean, come on. Where do you see that clarity? And I gotta be honest. Back in 2008, 2009, I'll be honest. I was annoyed by Doris Burke. I was not the biggest Doris Burke fan, but I have seen the light. She is the top NBA analyst in the world, in my mind.
Really?
Yep. Sorry, Stephen A. LeBron.
So is Woj considered an NBA analyst?
I'd say he's more a reporter. He's not
okay.
He's not breaking down Kawhi Leonard's game. I mean, I don't think we're going to be seeing any Burke bombs anytime soon. If that's what you're asking. But no, when you're breaking down Kawhi versus the Lakers defense, you're breaking down how the Bucks are effective on the offensive side. I feel like she just does a really good job of translating, and then she mixes in those comments that are just very. The word I'm getting is transparent, but really what I mean is just there's no fourth wall between you and the product, which is awesome. It's that genuine, fun, loving nature of sports that we all love so much.
All hail Queen Doris. Seriously. I know, really, gotta.
All right, Jenna, what do you got?
Oh, man, there's too many. I think just the fact with everything with hockey, I mean, it's March Madness on steroids. If you had told me I would have to wait for this because of a global pandemic, sure. But the fact that, I mean, my goodness, we get 5-6 NHL games a day, back to back to back to back to back. This is just, it's amazing.
It really is. 12 noon, 2:30, 4 o'clock, 6:30. It's, for hockey, you never get that.
No, and they're all like, it's just when we were doing all the things leading up to everything. I mean, just the parity in the NHL playoffs is already incredible, and then you add the fact that everyone was off for 4 months. It was like, oh my god, like you could make a case pretty much for any team to win the Stanley Cup, and I'd be like, yeah, no, makes sense.
Everyone's healthy. That's the biggest thing too.
Oh my god, everyone's healthy, and I mean, I've written this in scripts like a million times since I've been here, but I mean, if you had said to Penguins fans that Jake Gensel was going to be back in time for the playoffs, everyone would have looked at you like you were crazy. Lo and behold,
hey, he's the one who sealed the deal and got the Game 2 win. So
and locked up Funnel Guy's lone win of yesterday with just about 11 seconds.
That did piss me off. I'm not gonna lie, but I got that.
You must have been so furious.
When
he skated down the ice at 15 seconds left and it was a loose puck.
No.
Yeah, I'm not happy with that. And Jen, I'm not sure if you're aware of that's going on, but the Funnel Guy is doing his gambling gauntlet. We're posting it every day on Degenerate Danger Zone and Trainwreck Sports, and he goes 1-4 his first day. 4-1 his second day. Then last night, 1-5.
All right. We're just going to go right into it. Yesterday was a bad day. Yesterday was just a bad day.
So just a horrible day. And then today he's in trouble, I think. He's 1-1, split his units, and then now he's about to lose this Columbus game.
Yeah,
and it's just hilarious.
I will say on day one, he was a little overzealous with the picks. Like he was picking like plus 220s and plus 290s, like odds-wise. So since he's reeled it back, he's closer to 500, but it'll be very interesting to see. Can he straighten it out? Or like he says, is he putting baby J-Mo's, tuition in an incinerator right now?
Not good.
And by the way, real quick, anyone who wants to complain about qualifying games or round robin games, shove it. I'm done with you. Sports were gone for 3.5 months. Enjoy what you have. I guess that's the thing. People will always complain, but I mean the fact that I see people being, well, these games, they matter. Did a Pac-12 game at 11 p.m. between two bottom feeders matter? No, but sports are back.
Yeah. Why is the round robin game at 6:30 and not at 10?
I don't like the schedule. They're doing it right for the first time in their life. I mean, I feel like the NHL always will put every game at 7 and then 2 games at 10. For the first time ever, they're actually being smart about it, and people are still playing. It just boggles the mind.
You can watch hockey for almost 12 hours a day.
Pretty much guaranteed over 2 hours with a 10 o'clock game for sure.
Yeah.
Beautiful. This is a beautiful thing, and we didn't have it for 4 months.
Don't even get me started. The Avalanche Blues game was the best game of the day a couple days ago. The game was incredible.
God.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, we won't have, but the round robin. I mean, those are the higher quality teams. So I think the NHL did it perfectly. Honestly, I get the angle. I just don't see the need to complain. I think that if you look for the quality of play, those games have actually been better.
Yeah, and I do the one toughest thing for me with the round robin games was, and I heard a lot when we were kind of talking with analysts and stuff, but basically, I wish they'd kind of done it more of a seeding, or obviously with the seeding, but they'd given teams points and the Bruins start with a couple points, then you have Tampa, 4-3-2-1, and then you add every game you win. It feels a little.
Because what you're saying, so that fourth place team can easily get the 1 seed and everyone's even, but it shouldn't be like that.
And
I like that. Yeah.
Because then during the regular season, it's kind of okay, the Bruins got to 100 points. I'm not including my bias here, but just it's frustrating that could happen. I mean, granted, no one knew what was going to happen with the layoff. You got to come back and you got to play your best hockey, and the team may not win, but they had a 100-point season and they could end up the 4 seed if the Penguins win. You have a Penguins-Bruins matchup, and then you got a lot of angry Penguins fans. So it's kind of just I wish they'd done it that way, but other than that, I mean, I think the NHL did this really, really well, probably close, if not as best they could.
How nuts are the WPXI faithful going with that quick slip in from Harner saying that Penguins got screwed in this scenario? I love it. And by the way, for those of you watching home, take notes. That's how you complain. You give a little bit of a solution, and you actually talk about something legitimate. The Penguins do have a beef. The teams that were higher in the standings do have a beef in that 1 through 4 round robin, for sure.
And I low-key, Maniac, I've already told you this, love Philly and Carter Hart.
Yeah.
They are going to be a weapon in the East. I really do think that. It's all about having a hot goalie, and they took care of business against Boston 4-1 in that first game. But real quick, my favorite moment so far of sports. Jenna, Matt Bove, whoever else is not going to like this. The Yankees sweeping the Sox. I don't care if it's in a 60-game season, 162. You don't get that chance very often. That's my favorite moment so far.
I'll give it to you. This was a year I decided, one of my best friends from college, her and I, she's a diehard Yankees fan, big Red Sox fan over here, and her and I made a bet well before even Mookie Betts got traded.
Ooh.
And it was whoever out of the whole season series, whichever team wins more games, the loser has to buy the winner a gift card, so starting off, solid. And then the loser has to wear a shirt of the winning team's choice and player and post about it on social media. So not my best decision this year.
So you'll be rocking Aaron Judge in November.
100%. There is no question about that. My goodness, the Red Sox, it's painful. It's painful. And the Yankees, I can't even deny how good they are, and it's so frustrating. But man, they're scary. They're scary.
They are. They're never out of it. If you have them -1.5 in the 8th inning, down 2 runs, as long as you have Judge coming up, you never know what could happen. So, but Maniac, I'll give this next one to you to break some big time news. The Buffalo Blue Jays are 1 week away from playing in Buffalo. Very exciting time. Trainwreck is going to be all over it. Maniac, take it away.
We are going to be all over. Obviously, we cannot broadcast the Blue Jays game. We do not have MLB rights, so we are going to go with the next best thing. We are going to be posted up in Seneca 1 Tower across the street from Salem Field. We will have a view of the entire field, and we will be checking in live, probably for a couple innings at a time, with live breakdowns of the Blue Jays games, as well as all the action across sports, NBA, NHL, NFL training camp news. We've already been talking with a couple of local reporters for stopping in. We are going to have, in addition to that, all kinds of games, maybe some giveaways, and probably, knowing Trainwreck Sports, some debauchery along the way. But yeah, that's just over a week away. Huge shout out to Seneca 1 for helping us set that up. Obviously, They have a lot going on over there. Follow them on Instagram, Seneca 1 Tower. And yeah, cannot wait. I mean, obviously, live sports have been gone in Buffalo for 4 or 5 months almost now. So we cannot wait to be near a professional sports product and bringing you that excitement, that ridiculousness, and of course, even Jenna, the betting. It's all going to be about the money lines and everything going there. So very exciting, and can't wait to team up with Seneca 1 and bring all of you at home the Buffalo Blue Jays.
Jenna, it's going to be amazing. A great opportunity. Maniac's already scoped out where we're going to be. We got a lot of stuff to do the next 6-7 days for Trainwreck to make sure we're ready to go. But yeah, very, very exciting time.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's one thing I'm kind of bummed that I'm missing out on. Obviously, we have a Major League Baseball team here, but the fact that the Blue Jays are such an exciting team too, between Biggio and Vladdy and Flo. My goodness, Bichette, that hair, it's incredible. It's just not fair.
I mean, and Jenna, you could argue that if the Bisons were playing this year and they were facing the Pirates might only be -150.
Colin Moran would probably hit one out to the Skyway. Are you kidding me, Al? This guy's pacing like 60 bombs in a
All right. I had to drop that, though.
Show some respect, mister.
That wasn't malicious. That was, come on.
I know.
Oh, man. They're a fun team. I'll give it to them. Like, Derek Holland also might be one of my favorite personalities. When he was ejected, what was that, 2 weeks ago, I believe, he was ejected from the stands, which is incredible. And he broke it down for us, telling us everything. He was like, yeah, no, we didn't agree with, the zone, so I was really letting him know. And someone asked what he had said. He's like, well, I don't know if I can really tell you guys. He's like, there's an F-bomb somewhere in there. And like, they were looking at the dugout, and I thought that they thought it was Shelton or someone in the dugout, so he's like, nah, I just stood up, but I was like, nope, it's me. And then he was like, yeah, I was politely asked to leave after that. He's like, but it got the job done. We scored some runs after that. And he looked directly in the camera and he goes, so you're welcome. I'm like, that is just gold.
Derek Holland, a great character, and I gotta say, before we go on from him, one of the best nicknames in sports. Dutch oven. I mean, come on. Dutch oven. Derek Holland, we don't mess with you.
No.
Did you guys see the delay today in the Pirates Twins
Yeah.
game?
Because of the drone.
A drone in the 5th inning. I'm like, wait, I'm all of a sudden I'm like following on like MLB.com Gamecast, and it said it said delayed in the game. So I'm like, I checked the thing. I'm like, don't tell me it's a rain delay. Come on, it hasn't gone the full 4.5 or 5, 4.5 yet. And all of a sudden, I'm on Twitter and it says there's a damn drone at the game. It took like 20 minutes.
That's crazy. I mean, got to do what you got to do, I guess, to watch the game. But you know,
coming soon. And then that favorite Twitter account of mine right now is the one that's shaming the Astros. They're like coming soon to an Astros ballpark near you. I was dying when I saw that.
Oh, that Twitter's so great. It's so good.
It is.
That's honestly, I think that's all our best moments in sports. Since we're baseball enthusiasts, I mean, let's face it, baseball has its own culture. Baseball has its own set of laws. And if Manfred is not going to discipline the Astros, well, then he left the players no choice but then to do what they have already done in the form of Joe Kelly. Man with a double gender first name.
That may have been the most beautiful gift I've ever seen in my life.
What, the one of like the smoochy face, or like what he was doing there? Yeah, what Maniac's doing? So good.
Exactly that. Oh, it's a beautiful thing.
So good. So next up, how you doing, Christy? Let's see here.
Shout out, Christy.
Bubble versus non-bubble talk is a big thing, because you've seen what's happened in the MLB, and you've seen NHL, NBA. Has there been a positive test in the NHL, NBA in the past? Right? Like, I mean, they're pretty much 100%.
The only issues either of those leagues have been dealing with quarantine bubble-wise is the fact that Lou Williams went to Magic City 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and ordered his wings.
The wings are great. The wings are great.
Is someone alive or dead in this Toronto game right now?
Someone got injured. We're watching the final 2 minutes and it looked like a very bad injury into the board. So I think they're bringing out the stretch on the ice, unfortunately. Hope whoever it was is obviously well.
Yikes, who got hurt?
Not good. But the question I wanted to ask you guys is, how do you feel when it comes to the NFL coming up? When you think MLB is realistically, they're not in a bubble right now. They are the most socially distant sport, right? I mean, like, you're not all over each other like the NHL, NBA. I mean, you might be close at some plays at home or on first base, but other than that, that's it. The NFL is less than 6 weeks away. They're not in a bubble, and you're all over each other all game. And what happens when you get, God forbid, Josh Allen a positive test? He's out 2 weeks, or anything. An offensive line could be out for 2 weeks. Like, that's just a very scary thing. So I just want to hear your guys' thoughts on that when it comes to the NFL.
I mean, I think it's just going to be really interesting. It really it seems like it comes down to the players outside of practice, because at the facilities, it is entirely on lockdown. I mean, we haven't gone to Steelers training camp yet. We're not allowed there for another couple weeks. But like, who was it? Was it Poyer yesterday that had the tracker that showed you guys that? So actually for us, we're going to have to wear those whenever we're at Heinz Field, just, making sure that we're being socially distant so they can contact trace us. So, I mean, they're locking down on things entirely, and it's going to really just depend on what these guys are doing outside. I mean, that really, talking to guys around baseball and talking to people I know kind of in the industry that know people, they're saying, I mean, different teams, different things, but some teams just don't care what the guys are doing. I mean, with what we're seeing with the Pirates, they're, locked down, they're, not taking any chances. And you see other teams, I mean, St. Louis, I mean, just enough to go to a casino, but I mean, I think that's what it's going to come down to, because they're going to be.
You missed that, didn't you, Al? Because I was going to say, you would have been all over that yesterday when that news came.
They went to a casino.
I am mind boggled. So I was reading that, and the MLB rules as of last week were that basically all players around the league were strongly discouraged from leaving the team hotel. I'm like, what? They're allowed to leave the team hotel when they're not in a bubble? Like, that just seems asinine, like crazy to me. I mean, obviously they said they changed the rules now, but I mean, yeah, I can't see if they're maintaining the protocols, like staying in the team hotel and distancing from each other. I don't think baseball should continue to have a problem. And I will complain, because every time one of these teams gets 1 or 2 people tested positive for Corona. And obviously, if there's an outbreak, an actual outbreak, it's a much bigger deal, like similar to what was going on with the Marlins. But every time there's one, you always get those 3 to 5 people on the Twitter time. Well, MLB's done. Shut it down. They are not stopping. They are not going to stop unless literally an entire team is there or something like that. And in fact, the Marlins and Phillies, that whole situation, to be honest, kind of played into the MLB's hand because none of the Phillies tested positive off that contact like that. So it only showed them that as long as they take care of themselves off the field, the on the field really is not a risk for the MLB. So that league is going to continue. The Yankees will likely win the World Series, much to Jenna's dismay, and she'll be rocking that Aaron Judge jersey. But very interesting to see the protocols. And just looping back to that on the Bills side, I think McDermott said that they actually had a couple teams reach out because they had some rookies with positive tests a couple days ago. And they said that a couple teams from the NFL have reached out. It's a copycat league, and Corona's no different.
Yeah, and I think it's just gonna be, again, with NFL, I think they're taking so many precautions. You hear from McDermott, you hear from the Bills rookies, the Steelers rookies, kind of everybody across the league. Like, they know how seriously they're taking it because they want their chance to do everything. So it's kind of interesting to kind of see, they're, 22, 23-year-old guys basically in new cities. How do they balance that with also playing in the NFL? And they're all like, well, we don't want to be the ones that screw this up, especially because we're rookies. So I think you'll see a lot of that. And a ton of them have been saying too, it's not just us, it's our players, it's our, their families. We might not have kids, but they all do. So I really can only see the NFL faltering if players do things outside of the facilities that aren't great.
Yep, so let's hope the players are smart. Let's change it up in the MLB. Same thing in NFL. Please be smart, people. Next topic. Jenna Harner hates onion rings.
Okay, so last night on Twitter during one of the intermissions of the Pens game, and this video, Food Insider, whatever, of a fry roulette comes up, which, brilliant idea. What are they, the fry boards now? Love the thought of it, where it's just like, you get waffle fries, sweet potato fries, shoestring fries, tater tots, like all the things you could want in the world. And then onion rings. You have to go ruin it with onion rings? Like, soggy onions in, batter that just kind of crumbles? There's so many better options.
I think that's a fair take. If I was confronted with waffle fries, maybe some Cajun fries, maybe some regular fries, and I saw onion rings in that, prize pool, I would be like, "What? How can I buy out of this to just get, the next lowest ranked thing?" Because I do not want to risk getting onion rings right now. You take a bite of an onion ring, and, the onion, peels out, and you just got, the crust. What the hell is this thing? Find an identity. Are you an onion, or are you a ring?
It's
and then
so
people
good.
looking at me like the bloomin' onion. I haven't had one, so I can't speak to that. But I think that's probably a little better. But onion rings are just not designed to hold up well. Give me a french fry any day. Give me tater tots. Oh, beautiful. There's so many things I'm picking before I'm picking an onion ring. And even then, someone said they're like, "Oh, you want one, and then that's it." I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll have a bite of one. But there's so many more ways to mess up an onion ring than there are to mess up a french fry.
That's a fact.
This is an example of Twitter on being less is more, because obviously I was just looking through the responses and people were giving you all these variations, you haven't had the right ones yet. And then our friend Josh Potter just responded to you. He goes, "You've gone too far this time."
Josh, I'm sorry.
You did escape getting ratioed. You only got 59 comments versus 118 likes. So it turned out well. And people supported the opinion, no doubt.
I was worried.
I would be too for a little worried. Onion rings, that's a hot take for sure.
So, Jenna, how is the food in Pittsburgh?
The food is really good. It's funny because it does kind of have, again, I feel like similarities to Buffalo, big pierogies. The pierogies are really good. Lots of great, it's a really cultural spot. You have, your Thai places, you have your American, your pub style places. I have had wings here in Pittsburgh, and they're not bad, but nothing will ever compare to true buffalo wings.
Okay.
And I'll go on record saying that. There's a spot here called Big Shot Bob's, which has pretty much any kind of flavor wing. They go all out, and they're awesome. They're really, really good. Their sauces are delicious. But Buffalo, just the wings are so special there. I don't know. It's just like they're bigger. They have more meat to them. Fantastic. But I will say I was solidly impressed.
And they got the what? From Manny Brothers, the big sandwiches.
Fries on sandwiches and salads.
I was gonna say the Pittsburgh salads with the fries and the steak and that. What's that dressing called?
I should know this.
Riviera.
Yeah.
Right? Riviera dressing. I think that's it. The yellow stuff.
Isn't it like it's just like it's like a spoiler, right? Like it's not good for you. Like I'm not trying to ruin it, but
Riviera.
It's not like
it is
Italian dressing.
It is so bad for you if you look up.
Then it's great. Then it's definitely great.
The Riviera dressing with the fries on a salad, and you can do it with chicken fingers or steak. Oh my God, you're right. It's so good, but it is so bad for your insides, definitely.
I do, because we're doing hot takes, I do have another one.
Uh-oh.
Ranch in Pittsburgh is really good. I will not put it on wings because ranch does not belong on wings. However, ranch in Pittsburgh, surprisingly really good.
I think that's actually totally fair, but especially if you take away the wing barrier. That we get a little lost in the sauce in more ways than one with this. I mean, yeah, blue cheese, we like it superior to ranch. Does that mean ranch has no place in, like, the food assortment? Of course not. Like, some people take their buffalo leans a little bit too much. I mean, I'm not going to go as far as McDermott did this past offseason and say that ranch is better than blue cheese. But like you said, I think that's a fair hot take. Ranch has a place with a number of items. It's a great season.
So, okay, real quick, what do you guys use ranch with?
I mean, like, maybe you're eating some baby carrots. Maybe you're eating some, like, celery, like a little snack in that regard. Obviously, you can go salad. But, yeah, like, lighter items. Like, I'd say, like, to be honest, I guess I would just say not meat, like, when I think of ranch. Like, I'm talking about vegetables and, like, using it as, like, a seasoned other stuff. I don't think of any meat that I eat ranch with. Like, I'm not trying to be, like, a douche to, like, the ranch lovers. But, yeah, I mean, I guess that's why ranch aren't for wings for me.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say ranch, for me, same thing as salad. That's about it. When it comes to celery and carrots, I still prefer blue cheese. I definitely still get Rudy's blue cheese from Wegmans. I love
or Bison dip. See, we're just tough because we have all our allegiances and our love.
And producer Burrs is going to hate this.
Uh-oh.
That I'm dropping this on him right now. He loves his pizza with ranch. And
I think that is fine. I think a dip of ranch pizza is fine. Yes. I said, not meat. Not meat.
I'd still go. I prefer my pizza with blue cheese, though.
But
in my opinion.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. I would still put, if I had the option in my fridge, ranch and blue cheese, I'm getting blue cheese for my pizza first.
I'm right there with you.
All right.
The ranch is more like, to me, like a Frank Gore, and in the modern day, in this year, it was a Frank Gore, and the blue cheese is a Devin Singletary. To what we got going on right now. A lot of promise, a lot of flavor, can do a bunch of different things. Yep. Ranch a little bit more straightforward, plow ahead, and just kind of get the job done.
Beautiful comparison. Love that.
If we can compare it to sports, we will on Trainwreck.
Oh. My God. So, Maniac, I wasn't sure. Do you have any final things you wanted to bring up?
We got a couple things before we let journalists. I'm gonna not even a lightning round. But we're gonna figure out if we can get to the bonus details. True journalists and reporters never give their sources. But if you'll remember, one of Jenna's biggest hits before she departed Buffalo, before she left us with broken hearts, was actually breaking the story. And Al, you and I kind of missed this because we were in Houston, that Duke Williams was active for that team. I actually looked back. I mean, that tweet was a monster. So with that said, now that she's out of Buffalo, will Jenna reveal the source that told her that before the game, that gave her that big exclusive?
Wow.
Big questions. I'll tell you how it happened.
Okay, that's just as good.
I'll give the story. It was kind of funny. So I was at Tim Hortons getting ready to get my coffee to go in before Buffalo Kickoff Live that morning. And I got an Instagram DM that was super weird. And I was like, it was creepy. It was just like...
Well, it was in the message requests part? Like, was it, yeah. Oh, sketchy.
Sketchy message request. So I deleted that one. That wasn't the DM.
Okay.
And then, like, 3 minutes later, when I pulled into the station, I got another like, oh, you have a message or someone trying to send you a message on Instagram. I'm like, God, seriously? I'm like, is this happening again? And I open it and I was like, oh, wait a second. Like, and it was from my source telling me, hey, I haven't seen anybody break this yet. If you want to be the one to break it, just want to let you know Duke's going to play today. So instinctively, I kind of was like, I was kind of confused, wasn't sure. So I called Josh Reed, and I was like, "Hey, I have this information. Is there any way you can verify it?" And he's like, "Yeah, that actually makes a ton of sense." He's like, "He wasn't out here warming up, before when the guys that aren't or the inactives usually warm up." He's like, "Yeah, he wasn't out here." He's like, "If you're good with it, roll with it." I'm like, "Alrighty, we're doing it." And lo and behold, that's what it was.
And that's huge. You got that on your personal. Sorry, News for Buffalo Twitter. It's going on the Harner account.
Speaking of this, Harner.
Uh-oh.
You know what I'm going to say, Maniac. Did you get me unblocked from Channel 4?
Did I?
I'm not blocked anymore.
I think I might have had something to do with that.
You told me that you would put in a good word, and all of a sudden I could start seeing WIVV tweets. I was like, let's go. Harner did it.
I don't know why you were blocked before. That's kind of outrageous, but I mean, I know some people in that web department, so.
Okay.
Two things that I've taken from that story. One, Jenna Harner can help you out of any situation. And number two, if you send her a DM and she doesn't respond in 3 minutes, just send another DM because it will work in the end. And then one last thing, just as we're going down the stretch here, Slurpees. People in Pittsburgh don't know what Slurpees are?
I saw that tweet this morning. I guess they're changing 7-Elevens to something. I think that was actually a Dave Morales tweet. Okay. I think it was, I want to say Ohio, not entirely. Hold on. Now I got to check because
because I know in the New Jersey area and around there you get the Wawas and they have, but like they were calling it like a freeze frame or something. They're like, we're going to be all out of freeze frames. And we're going to have to get used to these things called Slurpees.
A speedy freeze.
A speedy freeze.
Which
that's what I actually call it when I get a brain headache from drinking my Slurpee too quick.
What the hell's a brain headache?
Well, you know what? It's a brain freeze, but I didn't want to use the freeze term. And remember when you didn't know, Al, that everybody referred to it as an ice cream headache.
No one refers to it as an ice cream headache.
We had this argument, Chad. I called it an ice cream headache, and Al's like, what are you talking about? It's called a brain freeze. And I go, Al, just look it up. He searches brain freeze, and literally the first thing on Google is also known as an ice cream headache. So I don't agree, because obviously you could have something else. You could be eating a Freezy Pop. You could be having a Slurpee. It could come from this. But people, it's just like Baby Yoda in The Mandalorian. It's not Baby Yoda, but that's the best name we can come up for, and it's relatable. So that's all going there. We'll help Pittsburgh figure out what Slurpees are if you need that. And then last but not least, I mean, this is huge in the reporter game. Jenna makes the transition from Jenna Harner 4 to Jenna Harner 11. Lost the check mark?
The check mark disappears if you're verified and you change your handle. It's been a very sad time for me. They're really trying to get it back at work. I don't know how apt Twitter is to be handing out verifications once again. And if I had known I was going to have to do that, I would have just gone with Jenna Harner originally and then not have to change it. So it's a sad day, but the blue check mark hopefully will be coming soon.
We socially media advocate for 3 things here on Transference outside of Trainwreck. 1, go subscribe to Melody and Martin on YouTube. 2, verify Mark Allnut. We've been working on that one for 2 years, Al. We've been working on it for 2 years, and now we're adding to the list. Verify Jenna Harner. Just because someone changes where they live doesn't mean they should lose their check mark. Shame on you, Twitter.
Absolute joke.
Absolute joke indeed.
There's a Channel 4 here, and I don't work for them. I know.
Unbelievable. We're going to talk to your agent about maybe setting that up smoothly next time.
Yeah. Please put in a good word there.
Final question, you don't have to answer. At Channel 4, you got this offer with Pittsburgh. Did Josh Reed give you a counteroffer?
It wasn't a counteroffer. But he, ironically enough, actually knew that I had interviewed in Pittsburgh before I told him I did.
Whoa, connections, Josh Reed. He's got Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Buffalo on lock.
He knows everybody. And it was funny because it was, the whole month of February, him and I didn't really see each other because he was on his honeymoon. And then just I was off, and we were kind of, one of us was in the studio, one of us was somewhere else, and then they were at the combine. And I had interviewed, and I really wasn't telling people because the opportunity kind of came up out of nowhere. I didn't expect it. I wasn't running and searching by any means. But again, I love Buffalo. I still do. I love it a ton. I wasn't looking to leave, and then Pittsburgh kind of came out of the blue, and I went down and was planning on telling him afterwards, and lo and behold, and I was calling him to talk about it, and he goes, "Oh yeah, so is this about Pittsburgh?" And I was like, "Oh no," but that's literally how small this industry is.
Holy crap! Wow.
I love it. I respect it. Is this about Pittsburgh? I like to think Jenna leaving WIVB was like when Dr. Dre left Death Row Records. Like, they were just devastated. And obviously, she's going on to Superstardom. She'll probably be teaming up with Apple in a couple years, just like he did.
Say you guys are going to Superstardom quicker than I will, but
we're all on this rocket together. Speaking of rockets, Al, I think it's time for some shout-outs. Time to throw it out to the people. Should I go first? Jenna, you got a shout-out?
I'm going to shout out. I'm going to say it right now. Shout out. The only reason why this show went so well and so successful and me being happy was because of Trevor May of the Minnesota Twins. Because if he did not get those final 2 outs against the Pittsburgh Pirates to secure my under 10.5, this would have been an ugly show. That's all I'm going to say. I was pacing in my kitchen. I had my shirt off. I was nervous. I was sweating. It's hot in here still. I'm going to turn the AC on after this. So shout out to Trevor May of the Minnesota Twins. Maniac to you.
Obviously, I've been doing this almost every week, especially since sports are coming back. Shout out to everyone who's working behind the scenes with no limelight, with no television exposure, to keep all these athletes, to keep all this personnel healthy, whether it's the tracking on the contact for stuff like the Bills, or just everybody doing that work that gets no recognition, no applause, no social media lauding. Shout out to everyone doing that and bringing sports back too. It's a huge part of life. I can't overstate how excited I think we all are for sports to be back.
Oh, I'm right there with you. Shout out to sports being back in themselves. And then kind of along those same lines, but all the frontline workers, everybody that's been doing everything, doing their part during this. I know it's a ridiculous, intense time, and now it's nice that we have kind of sports to unite us and to distract us from everything else going on in the world right now. Shout outs to Mary Margaret Johnson, my girl. I miss her to pieces. And to Buffalo.
MMJ, baby.
MMJ climbed the ranks pretty quickly. She went from like the 4th longest tenured person at WIVB to 2nd in like a couple weeks.
Jumped.
Climbing that corporate ladder.
So proud. She's out there killing it. And shouts to Buffalo. I mean, I miss you guys to pieces. I really do. All the teams, all the people, everybody I worked with, UB, gosh, it's going to be, I love, following along still. It's like, I'm never going to not keep an eye on the Bills and the Sabres and those Buffalo Bulls and the Bisons, now the Buffalo Blue Jays. I mean, what's not to love?
Well, I could see it right now. Matt Bove dialing in. Jenna, interview. We need you here back in Buffalo. WKPW.
The circle of life.
That can be cut. That's fine. But, Jenna, how do we end this show?
You're putting it on me? Oh.
How do we do it? I ask every guest.
This train never stops.
Good night now.